The Atlanta Hawks are in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2015. They go up to Milwaukee to face the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 1 to determine who goes to the NBA Finals. Let's get into it. What's up, Atlanta? My name is Jeff Rawlins, and this is Atlanta Sports Raw, your one-stop shop for everything Atlanta sports. We talk Hawks, we talk Braves, we talk Falcons, and we talk Atlanta United. And today we're going to be previewing the Eastern Conference Finals series with the Milwaukee Bucks. They were the third seed in the East, coached by Mike Budenholzer, heretofore Coach Bud, because it's a lot easier to say. They advanced past the Brooklyn Nets in round 2 in a 7-game roller coaster of the series. They were down 2-0 in that series and came back to win 4 of their last 5 games. Like I said, Game 7 did go to overtime. The Bucks ended up winning that by 4, despite Kevin Durant's 48 points on the night. The Nets were riddled with injuries mostly through that series. They lost Kyrie Irving halfway through, and James Harden missed a couple games and was not 100% through that whole series. But let's focus in on this one, starting with the Bucks' projected lineup. They will have Giannis Antetokounmpo as their power forward, obviously their best player, and one of the best players in the league, 2-time MVP. At the 5, they have Brook Lopez, PJ Tucker, those are their forwards, and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton as their guards. For Atlanta, we haven't been updated yet as far as Bogdanović goes. As you know, in Game 6, he went down with right knee soreness and didn't play much in Game 7. It was only 21 minutes and didn't look very good on that knee. So hopefully an extra day of layoff helps him come back for this series. And as the same with the previous series, DeAndre Hunter is out for the rest of the year. Cam Reddish is technically medically cleared, but has not played 5-on-5 at practice yet, and that's typically how the Hawks do it. They like to ease in their guys back, especially one that's missed as much as Cam. And Trae Young's still dealing with that shoulder soreness, but he's continued to play and has said that it's nothing serious. So let's move into the matchups. When the Hawks have the ball, Milwaukee tends to play kind of a drop coverage on its pick and roll, having a lower line instead of pressuring the perimeter. They're probably going to put Holiday on Trae, who did have a good series on Harden, even though he wasn't 100%. But I think there are some things we can exploit there. He's only 6'3", Holiday is, and he won't be able to use his length as much as Simmons was able to against Trae. Simmons and Thibault were okay guarding Trae. They weren't really the reason that he shot bad, though. I mean, he was getting the looks that he wanted. He just couldn't make a basket. The area I think we really can exploit when we're on offense is the Bucks tend to kind of overhelp on the wing. When someone's one-on-one, they send a second man to defend the post, especially when there's a mismatch. And you can really find some passes off of that. And if you're drawing more than one defender, someone's going to be open somewhere. So if the Hawks move the ball, if they get those mismatches one-on-one, sometimes the Bucks will overcommit to that weak side, and they can move the ball around and find those open looks, especially for 3. The Hawks have more shooters, obviously, than the Nets did in that series, especially when they were banged up. And again, that bigger lineup with Gallo at the 3 could give the Bucks some problems. Our speed in the backcourt matches up with their bigger size physically, and they're the biggest team that we've played against in this postseason. Overall, I think we're just much deeper, especially on offense. Coach Bud only played 6 guys in Game 7 that played more than 5 minutes. So I think down the stretch, and we'll talk about this for a little bit, when all those minutes are kind of beaten down on you in the fourth quarter, our bench will kind of shoulder its weight, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So let's move on to when Milwaukee has the ball. Obviously, Atlanta's biggest trouble is going to be Giannis. as far as 6'11" power forwards go, he is as attacking as you'll ever see. He's just a matchup nightmare. Over the year, he averaged 28 points per game, 11 rebounds, almost 5 assists, and was almost 65% from the field. Like, just crazy good and efficient. The only thing he doesn't really do well is shoot free throws, but in that aspect, he's much better than Simmons. Obviously, he's a better player than Simmons is, but that is our first and foremost, finding a way to stop him. I've heard people talk about Collins on him, or even Herter, or Gall. I don't really know. It could be some shadowing. It could be, a smaller guy like Herter with Capella kind of shadowing him, like we did with Julius Randle. But there's really no good answer for stopping Giannis. He's just such a good scorer. He uses his physicality and his height and can score like a point guard. So, like I said, a mismatch nightmare. But other weapons they have offensively, obviously Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, their guards. Middleton is definitely their clear second option, and he is a very good scorer. He's 6'7", 220 pounds. During this postseason, he's averaged 23 points and 43% from the field. As far as Holiday goes, he did not have a great series against the Nets, and that weighed some of his postseason numbers down. He was pretty good against Miami, but overall in the postseason, just 15 points a game, 39% from the floor, and he was really not good beyond the arc, just 24% on his three-point shots. And we kind of saw this in some of the Brooklyn games, but Holiday is definitely kind of the spark that can move that offense from just Giannis and support to a great offense. If Holiday's hitting his shots and really kind of controlling the tempo of that offense, plus what Giannis will get, they can be really hard to stop. Obviously, when you look at an offense, you want to look at the matches on defense, and Trey will probably be on Tucker. Obviously, he's our worst defender. But I don't know. Through this postseason, he's been okay. He was really bad in the regular season. Kind of developed into a smart defender, like knows his limits, kind of uses his help and helps out when he can. But he's not going to do stupid things like get a bunch of fouls. I think he's only averaged like 2.5 fouls a game during the postseason, which is just fine. But we're probably going to have him on Tucker if he starts, PJ Tucker. They have a few guards that will come in and play like 15 to 20 minutes a game, like 3 or 4 of them, including Holiday and Milton. But none of them are very productive. Tucker was just only averaging 4 points this postseason, only 34% from the field. He's a good guy to put Trae Young on. At the 5, Lopez is the starter. He's averaging 8 points and 53% from the field, so very, very efficient from the field. And it's just a good option underneath. He kind of moves in and out and can shoot the 3 okay. He's averaging like 33% during this postseason. He kind of moves that baseline a lot like John Collins does sometimes. He'll move from the paint back to the baseline and kind of back and forth until he figures out which option he wants to go to. Pretty lively underneath the hoop, so a good option there. But overall, with their offense, they like to set up a lot of off-ball motion early on. They set screens, they get mismatches, and they're really good off timeouts and better than most at set up half-court offense where they're playing against a set defense. They're really good at their called plays. They have the personnel to really exploit switches. So look for that on Trae. I think Tucker's going to be setting some picks and trying to get Trae off onto one of those scorers and take advantage of that mismatch. So that'll be when Milwaukee has the ball. Overall, I think Milwaukee's a great team. They're going to be a really tough out if we even have a chance in this series. The Hawks are going to have to play very well. The Bucks play sound defense. They have enough scoring to complement what Giannis is going to get. And if the Hawks do win, I think a big factor will be how much Coach Bud is forced to play the starters for the Bucks. They don't have a ton of capable depth, and I think that's going to be a big factor, especially at the end of games. Up to now, the big three of Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday are averaging close to 40 minutes a game, and that's a lot of wear and tear on your main three guys. Obviously, in the playoffs, you want to shorten your rotation, but that does come with a price. You get the better players, but they get winded at the end of these games, and since there's going to be a lot of later nights, all these games start at 8:30. Eastern time, and only one day between each game, that starts to really hold you down, especially later in the games. We saw that with Julius Randle and Embiid. They just ran out of gas in the second half, and that's when the Hawks really came to play. Their second half plus minus was just really good in that last series. That was what won them the series. But obviously, two really good teams. They face each other with a chance to go to the finals. Most of the national media is picking the Bucks. I understand it. They have the best player on the court. They have more experience in the playoffs. I don't agree with people that say they're more talented. I think the Hawks roster is vastly overrated, especially in its depth. Travis Schlenk has done a beautiful job putting this team together. Obviously, it would help if we had DeAndre Hunter. Absolutely the best option we would have to guard Giannis, but he's not here, so that makes it harder. But we didn't make excuses for Philly for Embiid being injured or Danny Green being out. So no excuses for the Hawks here. They got to step up and get it done. But I'm saying right now the Hawks in 6. I know I'm way more confident than most, especially in the national media. I watched every single Bucks Nets game, and obviously I've watched every Hawks game, and I think this team has enough weapons to win, and they have the depth to overcome that late game lull that really hurt Philly last series, and can hurt if you're playing your 5-6 main guys 35-40 minutes each game. So that's my feelings on it. I hope this kind of preview of the Bucks has been enjoyable. We will talk about Game 3 after it happens on Wednesday, 8:30. But that's going to do it for tonight. I appreciate y'all. Go Hawks, and God bless. See you, ATL.